What's going on? This is the TYSK Report. You should already know I got some great articles lined up on the docket, so let's dive in. In the first article, Waymo explores using Google's Gemini to train its robotaxis. Waymo has long touted its ties to Google's DeepMind and its decades of AI research as a strategic advantage over its rivals in the autonomous driving space. Now, the Alphabet-owned company is taking it a step further by developing a new training model for its robotaxis built on Google's multimodal large language model, MLLM, Gemini. Waymo released a new research paper today that introduces an end-to-end multimodal model for autonomous driving, also known as EMMA. Slick name. This new end-to-end training model processes sensor data to generate future trajectories for autonomous vehicles, helping Waymo's driverless vehicles make decisions about where to go and how to avoid obstacles. Waymo developed Emma as a tool to help its robotaxis navigate complex environments. The company identified several situations in which the model helped its driverless cars find the right route, including encountering various animals or construction in the road. But Emma also has its limitations, and Waymo acknowledges that there will need to be future research before the model is put into practice. For example, Emma couldn't incorporate 3D sensor inputs from LiDAR or radar, which Waymo said was computationally expensive, and it could only process a small amount of image frames at a time. So I do like what Waymo is doing right here because they're looking to improve their vehicles and make them better than they already are. And one thing to point out about this company and an advantage that they have is this right here. So every week, 150K paid trips these vehicles have, and then 1 million miles have been driven autonomously every single week. So those numbers are very huge, and it shows that they are doing a great job, and they've been in the game for a long time, and they have the data to back them up. But on the other side of that is I wonder if those miles and trips are the same trips and miles going from point A to point B every single time, such as from one place to the airport or one place to somebody's home. And I wonder if those are just numbers being racked up for numbers' sake. Also, Tesla currently has supervised full self-driving, and next year they're looking to go to unsupervised full self-driving, in which they will be replicating what Waymo is currently doing right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out in 2025 when it comes to robo-taxis. There are also other companies working on this, but when it comes to Tesla and Waymo, those are kind of the big names that stick out here in the US. I'll make sure to keep you updated if any type of news arises. Let's move on to the next article. Impact printing is a cement-free alternative to 3D printed structures. Recently, construction company Icon announced that it is close to completing the world's largest 3D printed neighborhood in Georgetown, Texas. There are many factors fueling the growth of 3D printing in the construction industry. It reduces the construction time. A home that could take months to build can be constructed within days or weeks with a 3D printer. Compared to traditional methods, 3D printing also reduces the amount of material that ends up as waste during construction. These advantages lead to reduced labor and material costs, making 3D printing an attractive choice for construction companies. A team of researchers from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, Zurich, however, claims to have developed a robotic construction method that is even better than 3D printing. They call it impact printing, and instead of typical construction materials, it uses earth-based materials such as sand, silt, clay, and gravel to make homes. According to the researchers, impact printing is less carbon intensive and much more sustainable and affordable than 3D printing. Now, just to give you a visual of impact printing, this is what the company has right here for those structures, or the material, I should say, when it comes to building homes. Of course, you have these kind of cone-looking pillars here, and then back there you might have some type of home with a little bit of window and different shapes and things like that. And also on their website, it shows here intelligent machines that build humanity's future. These are the different projects that Icon has, and it's showing these different buildings that they built here. So House Zero for residential construction. Then they also have this residential construction, and then this, and then this, and this, and this. So it's very interesting. They've been doing this for a little while. It shows they have these different structures up. So they have a nice portfolio going for themselves. So that was just to give you a little bit of insight of what's going on in the 3D printing world. I'm not a construction expert, so I can't really say if this is really better than the traditional way, but one thing about technology is that it keeps on churning, and somehow, some way, it continues to get better and better and better over time. And as the world continues to go green and want to make things more sustainable, this may be the go-to method for building homes in the future. So we shall see how this one plays out. I'll make sure to keep you updated if any news arises. Let's move on to the next article. Kids with Android phones will be able to use Google Wallet Tap to Pay soon. So kids will soon be able to download the Google Wallet app on their Android phone, allowing them to buy things in store via Google's Tap to Pay feature. The news comes after Google first added the feature to its kid-focused Fitbit Ace LTE fitness tracker in August. In a statement given to 9 to 5 Google, the company said there will be ways for parents to supervise usage with control over approving new cards, removing cards, and viewing transaction history. Parents can supervise children's accounts via the Google Family Link app. Kids will be able to make tap-to-pay purchases using standard authentication options, including fingerprint, facial recognition, PIN, or passwords. They can also use Google Wallet to store gift cards and event tickets, but they can't make online purchases or save health or identification cards. Google's Kids payment features will start rolling out to Google Wallet users in the US and several other countries next year. So it looks like parents will have an additional option that children could use, or kids could use, I should say, in store for digital transactions. Also, as this begins to roll out, I wonder if this is going to become more popular than the Apple Cash family. So Google may just be doing this to kind of expand what they're doing, but Apple Cash family may be the go-to for parents and their children. But I'll keep you updated if anything comes up. Let's move on to the next article. Microsoft isn't secretly installing Recall on your Windows PC. Microsoft Recall feature, which creates screenshots of mostly everything you see or do on Copilot Plus PC, has been mired in controversy ever since it was announced earlier this year. After security researchers found that a pre-release version of the Recall database wasn't encrypted, Microsoft moved to delay the feature and overhaul it with a big focus on security. Recall still isn't even available to test yet on the Copilot Plus PCs, but some good old-fashioned fear, uncertainty, and doubt is spreading about Microsoft supposedly secretly installing it on the latest version of Windows 11. Interesting. Microsoft has been very clear that Recall will be an optional experience once it returns, and even that it can fully be uninstalled by users. Fears around Recall being secretly installed or enabled in Windows 11 have now spread across YouTube, with many videos offering up ways to remove the feature that isn't even present in Windows 11 version 24H2. So will Recall be installed? Will it not be installed? Who truly knows? But whenever new technology comes out, there's always an uproar, controversy, or some speculation. Now, one thing we can say is when this does come out, there are going to be people who are going to pick this thing apart. And if they find something, they're going to make sure they let people know about it. So until then, we can only take Microsoft's word for it and see how this thing plays out. Let's move on to the next article. OpenAI will start using AMD chips and could make its own AI hardware in 2026. OpenAI is reportedly working with Broadcom to develop new custom silicon designed to handle its large AI workloads for inference and secure manufacturing capacity with TSMC. Still, on its current timeline, the custom designed hardware may not start production until 2026. In the meantime, the sources also said OpenAI is incorporating AMD chips into its Microsoft Azure setup. AMD introduced its MI300 chips last year, which was a big part of the news this summer, and that its data center business had doubled in a single year as it chases market leader Nvidia. The reported strategy puts OpenAI on a similar track to other tech companies trying to manage costs and access to AI server hardware with custom chip designs. But Google, Microsoft, and Amazon are all already a few generations down the road in their efforts, and OpenAI may need significantly more funding to become a true competitor. So that last statement was very key for OpenAI, and I believe, in my opinion, that they are going to need a huge leap to catch up to Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. But this is technology, and one moment or the next, OpenAI can find themselves moving at warp speed ahead of the competition. Plus, as we know, this is OpenAI, and they could have something already in the works that we don't know about, and they just haven't told the public or anyone else. But I'll make sure to keep you updated on any news that arises with this information or this story. Let's move on to the next article. Microsoft accuses Google of secretly funding regulatory AstroTurf campaign. Microsoft is accusing Google of funding a proxy campaign designed to discredit it in the eyes of regulatory authorities and policymakers in the European Union and beyond. According to Rima Ali, the company's deputy general counsel, Microsoft claims that the search giant has gone to great lengths to obfuscate its involvement, funding, and control of the Open Cloud Coalition, a group of cloud service providers, industry leaders, and stakeholders that says it's committed to advocating for a fair, competitive, and open cloud services industry across the UK and the EU. According to Microsoft, Google hired a lobbying agency in Europe to create and operate the organization and recruited a handful of European cloud providers to appear as the public face of the soon-to-launch campaign. The company says that Google plans to present itself as a backseat member of the Open Cloud Coalition rather than its leader and primary funder. It remains to be seen what Google offered smaller companies to join, either in terms of cash or discounts, Microsoft says. It adds that one of the cloud providers Google approached about joining the Open Cloud Coalition claims that the company will direct the group to attack Microsoft's cloud computing business in the European Union and the United Kingdom. So it looks like Google and Microsoft are going through a little bit of a digital cloud scuffle. We will see how this plays out in the weeks and months to come ahead. Let's move on to the next article. Netflix is making it easier to bookmark and share your favorite parts of a show. Netflix is launching a new feature called Moments that lets you save and share bookmarks to a specific spot in a show or movie. The feature seems like it could be a very useful way to share parts of something you're watching with friends or on social media. To capture a moment, tap on the screen while you're watching something on Netflix to see the various menu options, then tap on the New Moments button to pop up a new menu, and then tap the Save button. From the Moments menu, you can also see other moments you've saved for that show or movie and share moments to various apps. You can also copy a link of the moment to your clipboard. The ability to make moments has already launched globally on iOS, and it will arrive in the coming weeks on Android. Netflix currently doesn't have plans to bring the feature to the web or TVs, Rosenberg says, but in a blog post about the news, Netflix says that moments will hopefully expand in the future, offering even more ways for members to use and enjoy the feature. So I do like that Netflix is adding this feature because not only will it help people engage more around different movies and TV shows on the platform, it will also give people the opportunity to see what perspective or ways that people think about or see scenes when it comes to movies and TV shows that they can point out. So this is a great way to build more engagement into their platform and interest when it comes to different movies and shows. Now, normally I do watch Netflix on my laptop, but when it comes to testing out new features, that's something I'm always interested in. So I plan to download it on my phone and check this out, and I'll make sure to keep you updated. So there are always interesting and exciting things happening in the world of technology. You never know what's going to happen. So make sure you stay informed by liking this video, subscribing, and check out these two videos where I tell you about the things you should know happening in the world of technology.